Welcome to the Buccaneers Observer. This is Ralph Phillips. Can you feel it? Can you feel it? Football is almost here. Preseason game Saturday, week 1 against the Bengals. The plan is right now, I'm going to do a live stream for the preseason game. See how it works out. So join me Saturday for the live stream with the preseason game. Tom, what's going on, brother? She asked that question again. She did that earlier this year, didn't she? Or last year? Asked about the background of some player. Todd Bowles is like, look, we're not hiring millionaires here. She's just so silly, man. Like, what's that got to do with football? I don't know. All the stuff they could ask and all the stuff they could talk about, and they bring up crap like that. MK, what's going on, man? Woo, man, it is almost here. The Buccaneers have released their depth chart. We're going to go over that. Now, the depth chart, this is the preseason depth chart. It really doesn't mean a whole lot, but you do get a sense for where the team is at and who's moving up to starter positions and who's falling down. So that's going to be interesting. We're going to cover all that, go over all the positions and stuff. Let's see, just cover some news real quick. Buccaneers have placed Opeta on injured reserve, and we signed linebacker Jay Person. Don't know a thing about him, but we'll see if he sticks. I found it interesting that we got a linebacker instead of another offensive lineman. I don't know. Molly, what's going on? how he says, Jenna. Nobody will ever beat Dirk Cutter, though, man. Dirk Cutter used to rip her. Loved it. The 49ers have signed our wayward running back, Keyshawn Vaughn. Talk about a team to go to where you're going to definitely be deep on the depth chart as a running back. It's the 49ers. I think they just signed Breida back, too, I believe. Christian McCaffrey has got an ankle injury, I think it is. He's been in and out of practices and stuff, though. Let me see. Interesting thing, John Gruden. You know, he's suing the NFL. He got fired for a bunch of stuff. He was spotted at the Kansas City Chiefs preseason practice, decked out in full coach's gear. Apparently, he is going to be advising or assisting with the Kansas City Chiefs, which is just, I tell you what, he is sticking it to the NFL, man. Let me say, he's gone through the Saints, he did the Falcons, now he's over there with the Chiefs, which that's just got to be a thorn in their side. You know, I mean, we're talking about the Chiefs, the darlings of the NFL, and now John Gruden's part of the coaching staff in some capacity or another. they gotta hate it. Oh man, yeah, good for John. I'm glad he's not in NFC South anymore, helping people out. What's up, Craig? Rampage, what is up, my brother? MH. Ooh. That would be funny if he did take over the head coaching job. Now, him and Andy Reid have a long history together. You know, they were assistant coaches together at Green Bay. You know, they've been together for a long time. And I think that a lot of coaches, especially the old school coaches, old school NFL guys, are kind of miffed at what happened to John Gruden. And understandable, I think. It was definitely, he was targeted. No doubt about it. JoeBucksFan.com turned 16 today. 16 years of JoeBucksFan.com. I remember when it first came out. And it was exciting, you know, just to have new stuff. I think at the time, Pewter Report had a website, but there really wasn't a whole lot going on with it. They were still doing their magazine. I'm not sure. But I remember Joe Bucks Fan was like one of the first, fan websites, you know, that was really doing a lot of stuff. And I've got a lot of respect for the Joe Bucks Fan crew. I know there's a lot of division amongst the fan base, you know, mainly due to how they report. You know, they do that third person, the Joes. there's two of them, three if you count Ira Kaufman, but only two of them do the writing on Joe Buck's Fan, and they do it in that third person. It's a little weird, and a lot of the stuff that they report on, you're kind of like, they'll take one sentence that somebody says and make a whole story out of it. And, you're just kind of like, and then they do the nicknames where they give, people a whole paragraph of nicknames, and it's kind of, a lot of it's filler. But I will say, and I've said it many times, that they are the hardest working crew as far as the Buccaneers go, Buccaneers media. Those guys cover everything. Now, they focus mainly on media stuff. If a player gives an interview in some obscure podcast or radio station, Joe Buck's Fans knows about it. They watch it and they do a story on it. You don't get that anywhere else. Matter of fact, you don't get it anywhere else around the league that I've seen. Nobody covers the team like the Joe Buck's Fan. It's a different style. I like it, but to each his own. Each his own. 16 years though, man. Congrats to them. 16 years old. It's time for JoeBucksFan.com to get their driver's license. 16 years old. Which kids don't get driver's license anymore. It's so weird. They're not excited about it. It's like my son. He'll be 18. He's 2 years past 16, and he has no interest whatsoever in getting his driver's license. Weird. Chase Edmonds still has not practiced at all this summer, yet he's listed second on the depth chart as far as running backs are concerned. We'll see how that all works out. But, if you don't practice, and he had ball handling issues last year, I thought. And he was in and out with injuries and stuff, so I don't know how long he's going to stay second string. Nathan Peterman was released by the Saints. I talked about that during the offseason. Matter of fact, last week I was talking about it. I was like, man, I really hope that the Saints have to play Nathan Peterman at some point, because he's probably the worst quarterback. He should not even be on the field. I don't think he could even be a kicker. He's just really bad. And I was thrilled to death to see him on the depth chart of the Saints, but he's gone now, so that's probably the end of his career, I would imagine. I don't know why the Saints had even picked him up. Don't know. I like Ira Kaufman a lot. I like the podcast. It's really the way he talks. And, he's an old school reporter. He's really about the stories and stuff like that. But the way he talks is very entertaining. Rampage got pizza and wings. Molly's got dinner made for me down there, but I didn't get a chance to eat before I got on. Yeah, it's going to be interesting on the preseason game. A lot of the teams are not playing their starters. With the Hall of Fame game last Thursday, they didn't play any starters. I expected to see Stroud out there for a series, but no, they started off. So I don't know what we're going to do. It haven't said anything about whether we're going to have Mayfield play a series. I've seen some teams are going to play their starters this week for a little bit, but we don't know. We probably won't know until Saturday what we're going to get. I would imagine Mike Evans is not going to be out there. Levante's probably not going to be out there. The good thing is, just like last year, for the first time, we're going to get all 22 of the preseason. So starting next week, it's all 22 time, man. Probably Monday, I will have the all 22 film, and we're going to break it down. We're going to break it down next week, so there's going to be more than more than one live stream next week. Look, football's back, man. We're good. It's time to absorb ourselves. Wake up from your hibernation, you Bears. Let's go watch some football. Oh, I'm excited for it. I'm ready. So we got all 22. We're going to have breakdown, which is going to be really fun. We got a lot of guys I want to look at. I've heard some not really encouraging stuff about our new center. So we're going to see how he plays. We'll talk about that when we get to the depth chart, which we're going to cover here in just a second. The live stream game is Saturday, or the preseason game that we're going to do a live stream chat with. It's Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's against the Bengals. So, the Bengals. I'm really excited to see the offensive line. That's the big thing I want to focus on, and we're going to focus on that a lot in the All-22. Todd Bowles did talk about his tight ends blocking, and he said that this year is going to be very important to him to block on the outside, which to me says that we're going to be doing a lot of outside zone runs. That's where I think we're going, which I'm happy about. I like the mid-zone runs. We just couldn't do it last year. Kind of got away from it. Went back to the screen game a lot. I think we're probably going to implement a lot of screen again this year, but I think we're going to do more outside running, which everybody was screaming for this year. Rachaad White's good in open space. He can make guys miss. So it's going to be exciting to watch our offensive line in this preseason game. There was something I was going to say about the preseason. Oh, did y'all see the kickoffs in the Hall of Fame game? What do y'all think about that? I tell you, I posted something in the forum about it, and I don't know what to think about it. It did seem to not be as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think it's going to take a while for teams to get used to how to play it, how to defend it. What's it going to do to kickers? Are we going to have, is that going to be a skill position that's going to be basically cut? If you don't need a guy that can kick the ball on kickoffs, 60 yards down the field, which is you don't need now. Are they going to retain, a kicker and a punter? Or are they just going to start, combining the two? You got the punts, but the kickoffs, don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how it all shakes up. But I want to see the kickoffs be exciting again. I mean, we've had a whole decade of just boring kickoffs. It's just so rare if anything happens in kickoffs. And, they were kind of, I got to the point where I wasn't even watching them, because it was nothing ever happened. The biggest thing that would happen is somebody would fumble the ball, but you didn't get the big returns and stuff like that. They really crippled the kickoff. So hopefully this will bring kickoffs back to an exciting play, because you used to have a defense, offense, and special teams. And it seemed like, it was a third of the game. Defense was a third, offense was a third, special teams was a third. But then they just crippled special teams, and it just never really became part of the game anymore, And you had so many guys who were trying to make the team, and they're on special teams, and they're out there giving it their all. And, for the past decade, they really haven't been able to do anything. So we'll see. It was just really weird watching it. It really did look like arena football, XFL, college style, just didn't look right to me, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I think you're going to see a lot of coaches really try to be innovative with this stuff. So it'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to see what we do with it. Starting to kick it away from the return man on a line drive and hope it bounces crazy for a recovery. Yeah, see, we're going to get all kinds of stuff like that. I thought we were going to get more with the grenade kicks than we did after they changed the rule about kicking it in the end zone and you get it on the 30 and all that stuff. And special teams guys just never really seemed to try and play with it. But I think we will see a lot of that this year. Just different looks, different techniques, and something will happen. Something will happen that'll make people go, oh, that was cool. And the rest of the league will start doing it. And then the NFL will outlaw it. Yes, I do have the All-22 for the Hall of Fame game. I could bring one up. At least I think I've got it. I got it on my other computer. I don't know if I've got it on this one. I'll see. We'll look at it here in a second. Look, you're making me do work. Let me see. Nope, don't have it. But I can bring it up. I've got that glorious NFL Premium Plus. I'll go right to it. It's a shame about Nathan Peterman. I really wanted to see him out there playing. At least for one game, get some snaps. He is so bad. Oh, we've got some bad quarterbacks in the league. No doubt about it. Quarterback play has really gotten bad, I think. Has been for a while. Since all the pocket passing old school guys retired. Okay. I'm signed in. I was excited they had all 22 of the preseason games again this year. Yes. So many years they went without putting that on. And I really, I like watching the new guys. You want to see those guys out there trying to get the job. Okay, here we go. Rewind it. Yeah. Ugh. Y'all making me work, man. All right, so here's how it's set up. Don't have my pen. I wasn't prepared for this. Okay. Boop, boop, boop. No, that's not it. There we go. All right, here's how it's set up. They're kicking from the 35. I thought they were closer to midfield. So he's back here. You've got these guys lined up on the 40. You got these guys lined up on the 35. And nobody can move. None of these guys are allowed to move until the ball catcher or return man, until he touches the ball. That's going to be a big issue. You're going to see a lot of guys jump across the line. We're going to get a lot of offsides on this stuff. During the season or during the preseason game, you could see some of these guys did jump offsides and they didn't call it. So we'll see how strict they're going to be. Anyhow, here we go. Here it is. See, nobody can move. Bam! Now he's got it. And you can see all these guys took off. This guy jumped a little early. I can't rewind it, so I don't have it set up. So this is what you got. You're trying to get the ball in this box right here. I'm not exactly what the rules are. I think if it goes in the end zone, they get it on the 30. They get it up here. So you want to try and get it in this box. Boom. So you see the guys pushing and shoving and all that good stuff. You don't get the speed and the collisions. And I think they're trying to cut that out. I think that's the big deal. But you are getting some good blocking. It's easier for guys to line up man on man, pick their guy. But you're not getting that impact, and you're not getting the guys able to evade the blocks as well either, because if you build up that speed, you could zip around a guy. You're not going to get that with this. So it's going to be interesting to see how these the special teams coaches figure out ways to make this more special. So. Of course, the bubble wrap, I know. Had to put them in those big sumo wrestling outfits. Did y'all see the New York Giants and, who was it? Who was it that they're... Oh, the Detroit Lions? Man, it's like they've been fighting. They've been doing joint practices for the past few days. And it's like fight. And I mean, like real fights. Like throwing punches, mobs, whole benches clearing. Good stuff, man. That's the Detroit Lions, though. And it looks like the Giants will get a little bit of oomph in them, too. I saw Daniels out there throwing punches. I was like, woo! I'm ready for some football. Okay. Weird stuff going on with my computer. Somehow I put it in full screen mode. Trying to get it out. Yeah. Got this new keyboard. I'm not exactly sure what buttons are what. Can I hit escape? How about that? Nope. Oh, man. Come on. Stop. That wasn't it. That wasn't it either. It does. Oh, here it is. Okay. Ah. What? Oh, well. I don't know. You got to deal with it in full screen mode. So anyhow, depth chart's out. Let's take a look at it. I found some interesting things. I saw some interesting things that I wanted to discuss. Creamsicle Day, August 14th. All right. Here we go. Depth chart. Okay. This is our offense. We've got, of course, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. Our receivers 1, 2. Make sure this is the right depth chart. Yeah, okay. So you got Mike Evans and Chris Godwin is 1 and 2. The depth chart I was looking at had 3 wide receivers. Anyhow, so, you expect these two, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. We know we're getting. Sterling Shepard and Raheem Jarrett are the 2 backups. This really makes me happy, seeing Raheem Jarrett back there. So, when we go 3-by-1 or whatever, we're going to hopefully see a lot of Raheem, which is probably going to be quite a bit. Sterling Shepard is probably ahead of him on the depth chart. We'll see. Here's Trey Palmer. Okay. So, yeah, we got Trey Palmer. That one kind of surprised me as him being the 3rd wide receiver. And then we got Jalen McMillan behind him. That's exciting. I want to see him. I think we're going to see a lot of him Saturday. What do y'all think? I think we're going to see a lot of Jalen. Apparently, he's had a great training camp. Very, very happy to hear that. A lot of people were talking about he's really lighting it up. Like he's up there, like elite status type stuff, but it's training camp, We get this every year. Somebody comes out as the warriors of the pajama football. Yeah, my keyboard's all complex. I don't know how to work it. You know what stinks? I got it, and I like white keyboards because it goes with my aesthetics here. You know, I got a white desk and everything. And this is not white. It's like a tan. So it really kind of throws me off a little bit. But it's backlit. The lights are backlit. But at an angle, I can't see the letters when the lights are. So I got to turn the backlight off. It's only good for at night. But during the day when it's lit up, I can't see the words. And a lot of times I have it on my lap and I'm leaned back, so I'm looking at it at a funky angle. It's a great keyboard, though. I really like it. Anyhow, back to this. Now, these guys, we don't know. I mean, who is it? Who are these guys? Cody Thompson, Tanner New? Don't know. Latrell Jones? Don't know. Cephas. We got a Cephas. So we've got Trey Palmer, Jalen McMillan, Rakeem Jarrett, Sterling Shepard, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin. You ask me, that is a monster wide receiver room. You know, Trey Palmer, I don't know, question mark on him. Got a lot of hope for Jalen McMillan, and I really like Rakeem Jarrett. We know what we're getting with Sterling Shepard. Hopefully we'll get a little bit of boost from his performance because, you know, he's worked with Baker Mayfield before. So maybe he'll be a little bit better than he was previously. But I'm excited about Rakeem Jarrett. I was very happy to see him up on the depth chart like that. As far as the offensive line goes, we got Tristan Wirfs, of course. Right behind them, we've got Ben, but don't break school, which I was happy to see. We've got left guard Ben Bredeson, which we covered him in the All-22. Then behind him, we got Xavier Delgado. Now, remember, these guys right here, the backup guys, they can play pretty much any position. We've seen School play guard before. We've seen Brandon Walton play guard and tackle. I think we've seen him take center snaps before. He was absolutely horrible at it. But this is interesting. We've got center Robert Hainsey. Graham Barton has not taken his job yet, apparently. Now, you could say, well, they're wanting to get Barton acclimated and everything. But I've heard some stuff coming out of training camp that Barton's not exactly lighting it up out there. Apparently, Vita Vea has been destroying him, and he's had more bad snaps than you would like. It's a hard position to play. I don't expect him to just jump right in and, you know, be the lifesaver we're looking for. But I did find it interesting that they got Hainsey as first stringer. I'd love to hear Hainsey's thoughts on all this. You know, I mean, he stepped in for, you know, the center position when we needed him. I mean, he wasn't the best and everything, but, you know, he played it for a long time, and then they just draft somebody to take his place, and now he's expected to train the guy, apparently. It'd be interesting to hear Hainsey's uncensored viewpoint on all this. So then we got Cody Mock, which I was looking, you know, I'm like, is he going to be the starter or not? Still a big question. I'm anxious to see what he's going to do. I know he's going to get a lot of snaps Saturday night. I guarantee you. Elijah Klein, Brandon Walton. You know, when I was looking at the guys we got as backups, I'm like, man, I don't know. That might be why they keep Cody Mock in. There's really nobody, you know, that's stepping up to replace him. Gedeke, we like him. I like Walton. Walton's good on the outside. So I think we're very good at the tackle position. Very good. I mean, we know Wirfs and Gedeke are lockdown guys. School, like him. Walton, serviceable. So I think we're good at the tackle position. Luke Haggard, know nothing about him. Sounds like he should be in the at Hogwarts as a giant. Then we got the tight ends. We got Cade Otton and Payne Nerlin. And then Ko Keith, who's not really a tight end. And then we got all these guys back here. David Wells, Tanner Talla, Devin Culp. How many we're going to keep? Don't know. And that's another thing with the new special kickoff rules. It's going to change how teams, what players teams keep. Because when you have, I think with the new kickoffs, we're going to have bigger guys because you don't need the speed anymore. You don't need the gunners that are going to have to shoot down there. So you're not going to keep a whole bunch of cornerbacks and wide receivers now to play special teams. I think we're going to see bigger guys, linebackers, defensive ends, stuff like that on special teams. So I think that like tight end positions, we might keep more tight ends, because they'll be playing special teams more. The bigger guys, we're going to see bigger guys on special teams now. So it's going to be interesting to see who we keep. Ko Keith, I wonder if we're going to keep him. It's going to be interesting. Just depends on how our offense is going to be, how we're going to play our offense, what we're going to do. Because he's not a pass catcher. I mean, he does every now and then. He's not the best at it. He's not going to make you miss. But he's more of a fullback. It's going to be interesting to see if we keep him. It was interesting to see him in the third spot. Baker Mayfield, of course, Kyle Trask, and then we got John Wolford. We are going to see these two quite a bit Saturday, and we'll probably see an X-Stat a little bit. Don't know. Now here, Rachaad White, we know he's number one. Chase Edmonds at number 2. I understand why they're doing that, veteran, all that good stuff, but the guy hasn't practiced at all. And he had injury issues last year. He had ball issues last year. I would not be surprised whatsoever to see Bucky Irvin take his spot. We'll see how Bucky plays, or even Sean Tucker. Wouldn't surprise me at all. So, off to the defense. Few interesting things here. This one I found very interesting. Logan Hall as the starter again. I don't understand it. I don't get it. I mean, maybe he practices well. Coach really likes him or something. There's something there that we don't know about. But the guy, he's just not starter material. And he didn't stay starter last year. They had him as starter, and he had a couple of good games and then just disappeared for the rest of the year. If you ask me, Golston deserves the starting spot. I don't get it. I just don't get it. Behind Cansey, we got Mike Green, and behind Vita, we got Greg Gaines. So we're going to see these guys a lot Saturday. We will probably see Logan Hall a lot too. And then, of course, we're going back here. Outside linebacker, I was kind of surprised to see Marquis Watts so far down on the depth chart. Him and Jose Ramirez, I think that they have played well enough to get more looks. So we'll see the preseason. Then again, preseason, going up against the other team's second, third string guys and all that good stuff. But Braswell, we don't know anything about him. We got to trust the coaches that they know what they're doing. But to put Braswell above Watts, I don't know. Don't know. Anthony Nelson, I think Watts showed more than Nelson did. I just want to see Watts get more snaps. I want to see what we got with him. Because when he did get snaps, he made plays. Inside linebacker, we got Levante David, Kalen DeLoach, and Vi Jones. Then we got KJ Britt, Savasier Dennis, who he's hurt too. He didn't practice today, right? JJ Russell. Which I found this interesting. JJ Russell that far on the depth chart and Deloach ahead of him. I think JJ Russell's serviceable. And then over here, again, this is another Logan Hall issue. We got JTS starting at outside linebacker. I don't get it. I just don't get it. JTS was handed the starting outside linebacker job a couple years ago, and he did nothing with it. Nothing. Just totally disappeared. And he's just that kind of guy, he's good for setting the edge. He's a good body. But, man, how many years are we going to do this with both these guys? With Logan Hall and JTS, they're just not starting material. Unless they've really progressed, man. Chris Braswell, again, we don't know what we got with him. We'll see Saturday. I expect to see quite a bit of him. I think we're going to see quite a bit of JTS too. It's probably going to be a battle between these guys. I think that it's really going to depend preseason how they perform. Who's going to get that starting job? And again, this is a depth chart that is preseason. It really doesn't mean a whole lot, but it does show kind of where the coaches think guys stand. Now, coach is not going to put Braswell in front of JTS right off the bat. It's going to make him fight for it. So that's interesting. Here's another one. We know Jamel Dean. We know he's a starter. We know McCullum is a starter, but right behind them, Bryce Hall and Josh Hayes. I said it, when we picked up Bryce Hall, this guy is going to fight for a start spot. Bryce Hall is he's going to make these two work. They are going to have to really do good to not have this guy take their spot. And we will see him be a starter at some point because one of these two, they're going to get hurt. Dean has injury issues. So we will see Bryce Hall start at some point. And it would not surprise me at all to see him take a starting spot. I really expected him to be more of a nickel corner, the hybrid stuff we like to do. But to see him right behind Jamel Dean on the depth chart I was very happy with that. I haven't heard a whole lot from him in training camp, but we'll see. We'll see Saturday night. I think we're going to see a whole lot of Bryce Hall Saturday night. Tyrek Funderburk. Don't know a thing about him. I just like saying his name. These guys here, we'll see if they even make the team. Like I said, with this whole special teams issue, punts, you're still going to need speed guys, the gunners. But kickoffs, you're going to have bigger bodies out there now. I'm telling you, I think it's going to mess up depth charts to what we're used to seeing. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see if any of these guys, if we hear their names at all come preseason or come regular season. Now, the backpack, the safeties. Ooh, look at this. Man, we have got a great safety room. This right here, I want to put we got 5 stars. That's a horrible looking star there. As my daughter likes, 5 stars. She likes 5 stars. This right here. Woo! Woo! We gonna be lighting some guys up, man. Those two and their tackling skills. Yeah, you're not gonna get big plays on us. I think this year we are gonna shut down the big plays. I'm excited about that room right there. And then right behind them, we got Izzy. He ain't nothing to laugh at. And then we got Tyke Smith, who we've all heard has been doing great in training camp. So I'm excited about that. I'm excited. Right now, Chase McLaughlin, is our kicker. Camarda is our punter. Zach Triner, long snapper again. Look, we got 2 long snappers. He won't be here. Where we go? But at returner, for punts, we got Trey Palmer. Kick returner is Bucky Irving. Interesting. Got a running back there. Switching up. You know, we've had wide receivers as our returners for a long time. I like to see running backs back there. And then we got Sean Tucker listed as well. So these two are apparently fighting it out. And then way back here, we've got Jalen McMillan, and then we got Rakeem Jarrett as kick returners. It's interesting to see McMillan back there. They've also got him as punt returner, too. So apparently he's got good hands. It's the number one thing to have if you're going to be a returner is good hands. So, you know, we've got a lot of the same team. You know, normally the average is about a 30% turnover. And we really haven't had that for quite a few years. You know, we had the 1 year in 2021 where we brought everybody back. We had no turnover. And that just never happens. But this year, you know, it's pretty much the same guys. We've got these two. You know, Hainsey's not going to be there. He's not going to be the starter unless Barton really just can't handle it. We got a new guard. We got a new a third wide receiver. You could say that's kind of new, but same guys. You know, that's really just the change in our offense. It was our left guard and center. Defensive line, you know, you got Cansey coming in as a starter. Everybody else is pretty new. KJ Britt, you know, he's been playing here for a couple of years, and, you know, he's just taking Devin White's spot. Zion McCullum, you know, he's getting the starting job. Jordan Whitehead is – I mean, we have the same team with, I think, a lot of upgrades at spots. Upgrades definitely in our at our backup positions. And then our return game is going to be new. So that's exciting, man. I'm excited. What do y'all think? Byron Shitwich. See, I didn't dislike Byron Leftwich as much as everybody else, but I understand it. I really do. No, I haven't heard a thing from Byron Leftwich. You know, that it's the weirdest thing with offensive coordinator positions. Defensive coordinator, it's not as bad. But at offensive coordinator, if you fail as an offensive coordinator, your career's pretty much over. If you look throughout the league, you see offensive coordinators, when they get fired, generally they're done. You know, that's it. They never come back in the league. It's rare. It's a all or nothing position. It really is. I mean, you either go offensive coordinator, head coach, or you go offensive coordinator, never heard from again. And I think Byron Leftwich has fallen in that never hear from again category. It's you know, when you were leading the offense that gave Tom Brady his first losing season, it's hard. And of course, everybody said that was Bruce Arians' offense and all that good stuff. So, or it was really Bruce Arians that was calling the shots. So nobody really gave Byron Leftwich any props for what he did. What's up, Raw? He's probably still at home trying to put together a competent offensive plan. Local McDonald's drive-thru. Oh, man, don't mention McDonald's. I'm hungry. Dude, I should have ate before I got home. A Ring of Honor guy. Josh McDaniels. Yeah, well, yeah, he's... How that guy's stayed in the league, I don't know. He interviews well, from what I hear. Josh Hayes with a bad draft pick? Why do you say that, Al? I don't know anything about him. But I think that we have a better team than we did last year. Cutting the deadwood of Devin White is really going to help. I think it was an issue last year, locker room wise. I think it was an issue. I mean, we saw it on the field. The guy just quit. I think he was a big part of our 7-game slide last year. We got that. It's done. It's cut out. I think we are a much better team. I think we're a much better team. I hated to see Shaq Barrett go, and he retired, by the way. I think I talked about that. He's not with Miami. He just went ahead and retired, which shows that his love for football is gone. I haven't heard anything from him or anything, but you kind of felt that last year. We watched it on the All-22. I mean, he wasn't horrible, but he definitely was not the Shaq of old. He didn't seem like he was putting forth 100%. We didn't know if it was hangover from the injury and plus the tragedy that befell him during the offseason. But he obviously felt that it was time. So, we do have a hole there. I do think Yaya Diaby can step in. Shaq in his prime was just head and neck above everybody. He was elite. I wouldn't say Yaya is elite, but he's serviceable. He's better than average. He's JPP type. He reminds me so much of JPP. In his build, his style of play, even his stance before the snap, all that good stuff. We'll see what we got with Braswell. I'm kind of happy with our offensive line. I'm anxious to see how it's going to play. I do think we got a little bit better in the center. I do like that Preseason, watching the All-22. I really liked his mental game. I really liked it. I would like to see us get some toughness on our line, but can't have everything. I think our defense has really improved. Our backfield is just monstrous now. I mean, we got Winfield Jr., Jordan Whitehead, Izzian, and the new guy, Tyke Smith. I think we're going to be scary back there. Our wide receiver room, I think it's hard to even imagine that our wide receiver room could get better, but I think we have probably, I don't even want to say probably, we have the best wide receiver room in the league. I'm going to say it. Mike Evans, very underrated, I think. You look at his numbers and you go, wow, it's amazing. But he's like Levante David, man. He just goes out there and he does his stuff. Chris Godwin, I think he's going to be a monster this year. He's got contract stuff coming up. Lucas, what's up, man? And, he's really going to play hard. Last year, he was coming back from his injury. He was a little, but I think this year he's really going to play hard. And then we got Sterling Shepard, Raheem Jarrett. Hopefully Trey Palmer will be the guy we want him to be. And then we got that Jalen McMillan, which from everything I've heard, he's a beast. He's what we need. We need that acrobatic speedster out there. But Raheem Jarrett, I'm excited about him, man. I really am. I like to find these guys, gems on All-22, and I think Raheem Jarrett is one of those guys. He just gets open, man. Just gets open. He's got that gift. But I think we have a much better team than last year. And I'm trying not to be, pewter-colored glasses and, just be like, oh, we're going to do. But I think we are going to be a formidable team. We've got Baker Mayfield. He's got that monkey off his back as far as not feeling appreciated. He's solely focused now on winning. We've got all these guys who've got another year underneath their belts with him. We've got Cansey, who I'm really excited about. Baldinger, which I had talked about him a couple of weeks ago, did some game film on this guy. And Baldinger was like, well, he's great. But somebody asked Baldinger, I think it was Thursday or Friday, and who in the league he thinks is going to really be outstanding this year. And he said Kalijah Cansey. And he brought up Kalijah Cansey's hands. He said the guy's got the best hands he's ever seen. And, that's what I was saying all year long. I was like, he's got elite level hands. For somebody to come in and have hands like that as a rookie was just incredible. I mean, usually it takes years to develop that skill. And he's got great hands. And apparently, he's bulked up. He's got some muscle on him. That was his big knock we had on him last year, was his strength. I think Kalijah Kancey is going to be a really, really great player, especially right there beside Vita Vea. I think we're going to have a good 1-2 punch there. Logan Hall, not excited about seeing him as a starter. I'd be more excited to see Golston as a starter. Just, I don't know. Or even Mike Green. Yeah. Just Logan, I think he's below average, man. JTS, I think, he's JTS. He's a body. Hopefully Chris Braswell will bring something. But Yaya Diaby is going to be much better this year, I think. And we got Nelson, and we got Marquise Watts and Ramirez. I think we got a good outside rush. I think we don't have that elite premier Shaq Barrett, JPP type guy, but I think Yaya is going to be an issue with guys, and I think he's going to be a lot better this year. And then, we got these Watts and Ramirez, Anthony Nelson. We know what we got with him. He's a very steady pressure guy. We don't know what we got with Braswell. Hopefully he will be, what we want him to be. But I do think that our defensive line is going to be a lot better. I've been saying it for years. Our defensive line has got to get pressure without the blitz. I think we're going to do it this year. I really do. I think Kancey and Vita are going to be able to really push that center. Vita lost weight. I told y'all I saw him on some fan film, and he was just standing there. I didn't recognize him at first because he's lost so much weight. I was like, when I realized that was Vita, I was like, oh my gosh, he did slim down. I mean, I'm not saying he's looking svelte, but he was not looking like he did last year. Last year he had endurance issues, and he got tired real quick. So hopefully we'll get the old Vita Vea back. And I think Kancey is going to be a problem for any offensive line. So I think we're going to get that push up the middle that we need. And that's going to allow our guys on the edge to really get – if we can get pressure without the blitz, our defense is going to be monstrous. I think so. And I'm really excited about our secondary, or our safety position. Because, those guys, they're going to be playing up. They don't play true safety. They're going to be playing cornerback. They're going to be playing linebacker. They're going to be up in the mix. And we got the guys to do that. I'm anxious to see Tyke Smith, see if he can mesh with that style of defense good. So I'm excited. You look at the depth chart, you go, hey, yeah. I mean, our offensive line, we got good backups. I'm not worried about guys going down and us going into panic mode. I think our tight end room is going to be really good. I like Cade Otton. I love Payne Durham. Kokeef, but it looks like Payne Durham's going to get many more snaps this year, and I'm excited about that. So those are my thoughts on the depth chart. Let's see what everybody else is saying. Yeah, Dave Canales is going to try and steal our guys. The Panthers. Oh my gosh. They're going to be a hot mess this year. Hot mess. I saw something. Let me see. I had it saved on my phone, but then my phone rebooted and I lost it. Something about Dave Canales. Nah, I can't remember. Yeah, Matt Breida's going back to the 49ers. So they're really backing up their running backs. That's interesting. Jonathan Mingo is listed as a starter for the Panthers, wide receiver. Yeah, I lost it. I can't remember what it was, but something, and it was Dave Canales said something, and I just couldn't stop laughing. I was just like, yeah, that's Dave Canales for you. What's up, Joe? The Rakeem Jarrett fan club. I love me some Rakeem Jarrett. Head and neck. Yeah. That's from the old. It was our backup quarterback. Right, he started for us for a while under Shiana with the neck, the giraffe. He was head and neck above everyone. Kate, hey, what's going on? Yeah, I'm so glad to have Jordan Whitehead back. I saw Casey Phillips did an interview with him, his little sit down. And man, he seemed like he has, I don't want to say grown up, but matured so much. And he was talking. He was just talking good football. I was like, oh, this is great. He was talking about how excited he was to be back and how he just loves Tampa, the city, and all the Disney World and all that. New York is ugly. It's a horrible place. Dolphins have good wide receivers, yeah, but I'll argue. I've been saying it for years that Mike Evans is top 3, and nobody ever gives me the credit for that one, but he is, man. He's top 3. Yeah, I'm anxious to see how bad the Panthers are going to be this year. Little weak at linebacker? I don't think so. I think the linebacker position is one of those things that's kind of going the way of the dodo. It's kind of like the running back. They're just more of, they're becoming more of just kind of bigger cornerbacks. Devin White, I think, was a real albatross to us last year. I think he has been for a couple years, but last year he really showed his butt. And just getting rid of him, I think, improves our linebacker room. KJ Britt and Servassier, I think, are, they're good. They're good linebackers. I like JJ Russell too. I think we're pretty good at linebacker. And we got Levante David, and he's going to be Levante David until he decides to retire. He's going to be 50 years old out there setting records for, tackles behind the TFLs and solo tackles and stuff. It's going to be a sad day when he retires. I think we're good at linebacker, man. Inside linebacker. Outside linebacker, I could see, we got a lot of hope. A lot of hope at outside linebacker. I don't know, Al. Maybe it's just wishful thinking on my part, but I just don't think they're going to be better. I think they're going to be worse this year, if that's even possible. What I saw from Canales was the guy that got scared and, kind of really like abandoned his, he just kind of hodgepodge things last year when his plan didn't work. And he's a great talker. I think he's he's a great public speaker. I think he's a great motivator. I think that, he is head coach material, just not yet. When you're putting a guy in charge of a team who all these players are going to look at and they're going to go, you talk a good game, but what have you done? And, they're going to see what happened last year. And they're going to go, you didn't really, it really wasn't you. As a matter of fact, your performance wasn't that great, actually. And you just really fell back on, Byron Leftwich offense. So, I it's going to be interesting. It's going to be very interesting. Yeah, I guess they can't get worse than they were last year. But they win 2 games, or was it 4? Can't remember. London Fletcher, yeah. Except London Fletcher was more vocal than David. David is such a quiet dude. And he's better than London Fletcher. Yeah. I think David, he's definitely first ballot Hall of Famer if they go on numbers. If they go on popularity and marketing, no, he won't be first ballot. But if you know football, Levante David is a first ballot Hall of Famer. No questions asked. I get so mad. I was watching a guy talking about, he did a video, it was like 25 minutes long, on how the Carolina Panthers became such a dumpster fire. So, of course, I had to watch it. And he got to the point where Luke Kuechly came into the league, and he just raved about Luke Kuechly, how he was the best linebacker in the league for the whole time he was in the, I get so aggravated with that. If y'all listen to podcasts back when we talked about Kuechly and Lavonte David, about every week I raged about that. I was like, Lavonte David is so much better than Luke Kuechly in every possible way. You could bring up the stats, but just watching them play, Lavonte David, just one of the things I look for in players is making mistakes. Everybody's going to make mistakes. Tom Brady made mistakes. But it's your ratio of how many mistakes to how many good plays you make. You've got the in-between where you do your job. You've got those plays, which is the vast majority of plays. But then you've got, on each end of the spectrum, you've got the mistakes. And mistakes are costly. And then you've got the big plays. Everybody always pays attention to the big plays. The mistakes are rarely talked about unless it leads to a big play for the offense. Lavonte David rarely makes mistakes. Rarely. He's rarely out of position. He rarely gets blocked out of a play. He rarely messes up on coverage. He might get beat on coverage, but it's usually against a speedy wide receiver. Tight ends, he could take them. But Lavonte David just rarely makes mistakes. Now, you watch Luke Kuechly. Kuechly made a... Hush up. Luke Kuechly made a lot more mistakes than Lavonte did. But he made splash plays that Lavonte didn't make. And so everybody saw the splash plays and they were like, oh, Kuechly's the best. I'm like, no, Kuechly's making mistakes all the time. He was out of position a lot because he was trying to make the splash plays. So, anyhow, I used to rave about it. So this is my chance to rave about it some more because I saw that video. Luke Kuechly he was not better than Lavonte David during his time. Not even close. But he got all the accolades. The John Boy's Falcons series. I think you told me about that before, Kate. I think I did watch it. Don't know. I'll have to look it up. Let me write that down. So you talk about how crappy they are? I'll definitely watch that. I'm like starving. I should have ate. Everybody, who's going to be able to make it for the live stream Saturday? I'm going to do a live stream during the game. This is going to be my preseason. Because I might be doing live streams during the game all season. I wasn't going to say anything. We'll see how this preseason goes. I'm really fickle about my football. And I want to see if it takes away from my joy of watching football and having to, pay attention to all this stuff. We'll see. But I'm going to do live streams Saturday. And and see how it goes. So hopefully everybody can make it. Did Kuechly have more picks than Lavonte? Does anybody know how to throw a football? Oh, I've got to watch that then. Yes, I do. I pace and yell during the game. That's what I'm saying. I don't know how that's going to play out, if I'll be able to not do it. I don't want it to take away from my joy. Hopefully this will bring more joy. I think it will, to hang out with everybody. So we'll see. We're going to do it hopefully all preseason, and then after that we'll make a decision. See if everybody likes it. If I'm probably not going to do the whole play-by-play and all that good stuff that some of the guys do. I'm probably just going to be sitting here grousing or cheering or whatever. MH. Hey, what's up, man? That's what I want to do, is just be myself, watch the game with you guys. Joe, I really want to try to do the whole live full game experience. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. That we might do that just a halftime and post game during this season. We'll see how it goes. I'm excited for it. I was hoping to have my new computer hooked up and ready to go, because I'm going to have the game, streaming the game and then outputting the webcam and all that. I don't know if this computer was going to be able to handle all that good stuff. So hopefully I'll have the new computer switched over and ready to go. Don't know. In order to do that, I got to get all my software ready on it. I'm not looking forward to that at all. That's a lot of work. Hey, D, what's going on? Good. I hope you can. Cool, Rampage. I'm so excited to watch it too, Joe. I really am. I'm excited for football. Just ready. This offseason, so slow and boring. Oh my gosh. I don't know what I would have done if it wouldn't have been for you guys. Being able to get on here and just BS for a little bit once a week. This offseason was probably the most boring I can remember. I mean, I'm excited we kept all of our guys and we got some new guys that are going to contribute and everything, but there wasn't no big splashes or anything. Probably going to broadcast from here, Al, just like I am now. It's where I got all my stuff set up. If I did it in the living room, then y'all would have to listen to the baby scream, because she's going to be mad that she can't watch Masha on the Bear on the big screen TV. She rules the big screen TV. When we watch TV, we all have to watch it on our phones or our tablets, because the baby's got the big screen TV. Spoiled rotten. Spoiled rotten. If I put football on, oof, she would have a meltdown. Yeah, preseason, we don't care who wins. Score doesn't really matter. I mean, you want to win just because you like to win. But I'm really anxious to see how our offense is going to play, what we're going to get. Now, last year, we got something totally different in preseason than we did the rest of the season. It was very disappointing to me. What we saw in the preseason just did not carry over to the regular season. Those bootlegs were just shut down during the regular season. I mean, immediately. We just couldn't do them. And hopefully we will get a better grasp what our offense is going to be like this year with the preseason than we did last year. I was so disappointing last year. I was so excited about what our offense showed us in the preseason. And then we came out, I think it was definitely within the first 4 games, but I want to say within the first 2 games, we just abandoned. We didn't know what we were doing after that. Yeah, we're getting that part of the hurricane. It's been raining nonstop for like 3 days here. It hasn't been windy too much, and we've got baby rabbits under the trampoline outside. So poor Molly has been going out there and putting a baby gate around the baby rabbits. The mom comes out, and apparently what we read on the internet, the mother rabbit will come like 5 minutes a day, either in the morning or in the evening, and feed the rabbits and be gone for the rest of the day. And we've got a dog, and she goes out in the yard, use the bathroom and stuff. So Molly's been going out there and putting this gate around the baby rabbits. And she, with all the rain and stuff, it's been flooding. So she's going out there and taking the gate down when it gets bad rain, so that they want to leave or mom wants to come get them. It's been a mess, but we're just terrified for those baby rabbits, man. They're so cute. There's like 2 of them. They're like this big. And they're just like together, and they don't really move. They're in this deep grass under the trampoline. So that's been our big hurricane thing. But we've been getting tornado warnings all day, but whatever. It really hasn't been that bad yet. It's supposed to get bad Friday. You're watching the stream on your phone, Molly, because the baby's got the TV. Yeah. She used to watch Teletubbies, right? That was her thing, Teletubbies. And then she kind of mixed it up with Teletubbies and Pokey-Yo. And then we started watching Masha and the Bear. And it's on Netflix. It's a Russian animated series about this little baby girl and a bear. Of course, it's Russia, so they got to have a bear. It's a retired circus bear that lives in the woods in a cabin. And this like little girl shows up on his front door. And she wreaks havoc and chaos all the time. He's always trying to protect her and, clean up her messes and all this good stuff. But my little daughter, she loves that Masha and the Bear. She gets up and dances when the theme song comes on. And she knows all the episodes by heart. She could point out when things are getting ready to happen and all this good stuff. But anyhow, me and Molly were looking up this Masha and the Bear, and according to Wikipedia, it is on YouTube. It's got episodes on YouTube apparently, but it's the most watched video on YouTube. That's not a music video. It's got billions of views. So apparently kids around the world love Masha and the Bear. Of course, they stopped making them a few years ago because they weren't making enough money. How are you the most viewed YouTube video of all time and you're not making enough money? Greedy Russians. Yeah, right. Yeah. You got to have a run game, especially with the bootleg, man. Got to have that run game. And hopefully we're going to have it this year. I loved screen games. I really do. But I am sick of them. I mean, we've had 3 years of screen games. I'm sick of them. Sick of them. I hope we do not do screens. A few a game, fine. Man, I'm tired of the screen game. And Rashad White's good at it. He's got good hands. He can make the first guy miss. He's not good in traffic. Hopefully he's better at it this year. He's not going to plow guys over and everything. But if we can get him to the outside without throwing it to him, that'd be good. And I think that's what they're going to try to do this year. It's my prediction anyhow. Outside zone. The big comfy couch. Never heard of that? Some people are terrified of clowns, Craig. I had a girlfriend who she was just completely terrified of clowns. Had a phobia with them. And I never even knew that existed. And then she watched It, the first series, the first It make I think it was back in the 90s it came out, by herself for a month. She couldn't, she just wasn't normal. It really messed her up. I was why would you do that to yourself? Yeah, the bubble screens, yeah. They just rarely work out. You got to get those wide receivers blocking, and it's generally a mess. You're tired of hearing that we can't run the ball too, Joe? Yeah, those are many, many years of we can't win. And, we played in Green Bay all those years. In those cold weather, we just couldn't win. And then we did it. I wouldn't say we did it before the Philadelphia championship game in 2000, or 2001. Was it 2002? I want to say we did it before that, but I'm not sure. But when we did it, we did it, man. Killer Clowns from Outer Space, yeah. Hey, Rampage, you like those type of movies, man? Like the degrade, just goofy bad movies. I got a friend of mine who he's actually my oldest friend. I've known him since I was 8. He is so into really bad movies, like, and he did this before, what was it, this Space 3000, where they sat and they rip on the bad movies on the screen. He was doing that back in the 80s, but he'll have groups of people come over and they'll watch these shows and they just rip on them, and it's hilarious. And he's been doing it for 30 years. It's a big event. He's a big media guy. But I never could get into it. I could get into watching them rip on this stuff, but I just can't sit around and watch the bad movies. B movies have to come. What did I say? D movies? You like that one? What was it? The Birds? Or Sharknado? I watched that Birds movie. I say I watched it. I think I watched a half an hour of it. It was so bad. I mean, I've seen some bad movies in my lifetime, but that one took the cake. I was like, how in the world how did this get distributed? It looked like something literally that a high school kid would make. I mean, I wouldn't even say a film student. I've seen film student movies that were head and neck above the Birds. What was it? Attack of the Birds or something like that? Oh, God, it was so bad. Oh, The Room. Yeah, woof. It was so bad that they'd made a movie about the movie. Oh, man. Or any... gosh. But my brain stops working right when I need it to. Oh, this is horrible. All right, I'm going to say it as soon as I say it. The guy that does the Aikido, he did great movies back in the 80s. Y'all know who I'm talking about. Oh my gosh. Come on, somebody pop it up. I know somebody's going to bring it up. His movies are so bad now. And he puts out like 5 a year. They're straight to DVD type movies. The guy's name, he used to be the Aikido guy, did the martial arts movies. He had some really good movies back in like the 80s and 90s. Oh, man. Seagal, yeah, Steven Seagal. Oh, my gosh. His movies are so bad now. I mean, for one, he's like 60, and he dyes his hair, and you can really tell. A lot of times you can actually see the dye on his scalp, and he's got hair plugs in, and he's huge. I mean, he's just a big, like, he's not fit at all. And he's out there doing these, karate moves and stuff, which he doesn't do very well. And he like doesn't move his feet. There's actually scenes where he sits in a chair and he fights people in karate because he's just so out of shape anymore. His movies are so bad anymore. You want to watch some really bad movie, go watch any Steven Seagal movie that's been made the past 10 years. I mean, they are laughingly bad, but he takes himself so serious. Nobody will work with him in Hollywood anymore. He can't do any movies because he's just he's like dangerous, and he like wants to fight everybody. You can't mock him. It's like the worst Saturday Night Live skit ever that's rated the worst of all time, and the worst guest host ever was Steven Seagal. They did a skit where Steven Seagal kept, he just wants to beat everybody up. And so when you listen to the cast members talk about the skits, You know, how they were pitching skits and he was constantly going, and then I just beat everybody up. You know? It's hilarious. Toxic Avenger. There was one that I want to watch. I can't remember. If I can't remember Steven Seagal's name, I'm never going to be able to remember this movie's name. But it's kind of like on the line of Toxic Avenger. These teenagers find this orb or something that releases this demon, but as long as you've got the orb, you can control the demon, and the demon comes out and he's like, I'm going to destroy the world and everything. And they're like, no, you're not. You're going to play Legos with us or whatever. So he has to do all this stuff that these kids want him to do. And he's talking all this stuff like, I'm going to rip out your spine and everything. And they're laughing. And they're like, you ain't going to do nothing because we got control of it. And they make him do all this silly stuff. I want to watch that movie. It looks fun. Reminds me of Toxic Avenger, just the way the guy looks. I used to love Steven Seagal when he first came out. The one where he was on the boat, he was the cook above. My brain is just shot, apparently. Creepshow. Creepshow is good. Twilight Zone movies were good, too. I've loved all the Twilight Zone movies. I used to love Twilight Zone when I was a kid. Oh, Nicolas Cage. What happened to him? Now, he just did a movie with Pedro Pascal, which I've got it on my list. I actually got it in my queue to watch, where it looks pretty good, where it's Nicolas Cage. And he also did a movie where he got trapped in this this horror house where these dolls come to life at night and everything. And I heard that's really good. But yeah, Nicolas Cage has put out some really bad, again, straight to DVD stuff. You know, and people don't even buy DVDs anymore. That's how bad straight to DVD is. Oh, The Last Starfighter. Dude, that was my movie when I was a kid. Oh my gosh, I love The Last Starfighter. I think they're doing a remake of it, I heard. I loved The Last Starfighter. That was the bomb diggity. Loved it. There was also one. What was that? Starman. That was a good one too. Very underrated. Yeah. As a matter of fact, in that that movie where he's with Pedro Pascal, the movie is about Nicolas Cage playing Nicolas Cage. It's like what the whole movie's about. It's almost like a meme, you know. Nicolas Cage always plays Nicolas Cage. So many actors are like that. That's one of my pet peeves with actors. You know, you get a lot of good actors that they just play the same role every time. I had that problem with Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise always played Tom Cruise until he played the hitman in that movie with Jamie Foxx. And then I was like, okay, he finally broke out of his mold, and it was a really good acting, really good job. And then when he did in Tropic Thunder, when he played that, the producer guy or agent, whatever it was, that was awesome. So Tom Cruise really flew up my chart as far as acting is concerned. But so many actors do that. They just play the same, you know, even Johnny Depp, as unique as he is as an actor, he's always playing Johnny Depp actors, you know, or characters. Gary Oldman is one of those actors who I've actually seen him in movies and didn't realize it was him until I watched the credits. That's how good Gary Oldman is. He's a method actor who has played every role you can think of. He's been in so many movies, a lot of movies you didn't even know he was in. But I actually watched him. He played one. He was in a movie a couple years ago where he played Winston Churchill. And I did not know it was Gary Oldman until I saw the credits. That was impressive. And that happened with Nicole Kidman. She played Virginia Woolf. And I did not know it was Nicole Kidman until I saw the credits. That's impressive. You know, you could say it's because of the makeup and prosthetics and everything, but generally you could see through that stuff. You know, you could tell who the actor is and all that. But I had no idea it was Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman is highly underrated. Alien Nation, yeah, it was a good one. You know, I probably did. If it had Jennifer Connelly in it, I probably watched it. Enemy Mine, yes. Oh, that was so good. The book was good too. Yeah, Enemy Mine, good movie, good movie. Renfield. Oh yeah, I watched part of that. It looked pretty good. It was where he was the vampire, and you know, he got the kid to come in and beat Renfield. Never got to watch the whole thing though. But yeah, The Last Starfighter and Alien Mine. Those were two big movies of mine. That and Highlander. Highlander was Highlander was one of those movies that the main character, the acting was just so bad. I can't remember the guy's name, but anytime I saw him in a movie, I was just like, oh, I can't watch this. But the concept and the bad guy, I can't remember his name. I think it was Kraken. No, not Kraken. He did a really good job. But the concept of Highlander was so cool, man. And I didn't like the rest of the Highlanders that came out. I didn't like the series either. But I really liked the concept. But yeah, Highlander. And there was some good movies back then. Good sci-fi. Black Hole. That was a Disney movie. If you ever get a chance, go watch it. It's called The Black Hole. It had some good actors in it, too. And it was kind of, everybody accused it of being a knockoff of Star Wars. That was back when the Star Wars craze was really going crazy after Empire Strikes Back, I think, is when Black Hole came out. But it was very dark. And for a Disney movie, it was kind of shocking, you know. But they actually, Disney took off its branding from the movie because it was kind of, you know, darker than they wanted it to be. It wasn't your family-friendly movie. And they did try to put family-friendly elements into it, but some of the stuff in that movie was so good. You know, the actors were really good. The acting wasn't good. The special effects were pretty good. They held up. Last time I watched it was probably in the 90s. They still held up pretty good. But the characters were interesting, and the story was pretty cool, too. Kind of a Dark Horizon or Horizon, that type of, you know, dark space movie, which you didn't really have that back then. You know, Aliens was really the first dark space movie. You know, you had 2001. That wasn't really dark. It was more of a. But Black Hole was really the first that I remember that, you know, like, wow, man, space is kind of scary. And then, of course, there was The Thing. You know, it's not a space movie. It's still considered sci-fi horror, but man, I love that movie. I've probably seen that movie 50 times. I think it's probably one of the best movies ever made. The remake back in the 2010s, it wasn't too bad either. But nothing will ever touch that. Practical effects from The Thing. That was good. Yeah, I like the new Aliens trailer too, Al. The problem I have with it, and I don't know if it's just they did this just because of the trailer, but it looks like a complete knockoff of the original trailers. They actually have, in the trailer, they have scenes, like reenacted scenes from the original Alien movie, and Alien 2 and Alien 3. I don't know if they're paying homage to it, or homage, whatever you call it. But there's actual like scene for scene shots in that trailer. And I was like, are they doing a remake of Alien? Apparently this movie is supposed to be in between Aliens and Aliens 2, I think. So it's like a prequel, sequel or something. I love the Aliens franchise. I love the Predators franchise. I really do. Just the concepts of both of them are really good. I like the Alien versus Predator. I was one of the few people that really dug that. I like the lore behind the Predator stuff. Really, really like that. I'm so happy that they've really expanded it. And I wish that they would with Aliens. It's got great lore to it and everything. And I really liked what they did with the when they went to the planet with the guys that released the alien stuff. I really wish they would delve more into that lore. I forget what they were called. The Navigators? Was it Navigators? You know, and a lot of these, especially with sci-fi and fantasy, they get too involved in the characters, and I'm more involved into the story, the concepts. You know, like I don't want to see you sitting here talking at a table with somebody else about your love life or paying your taxes or whatever. I want to get into the lore and the world building and all that good stuff. Do we have breaking news? All right, I got to get off of here, guys. Got kind of a medical emergency. Nothing serious, but oldest daughter is not feeling well, so I got to get off. Got to knock it off. What time is it? 8:20. Okay, that's good. All right, guys. If you can make it Saturday, I'd love to see you here. We're going to do live stream for the preseason week 1 game. The Engineers, yes. Thank you, Rampage. I appreciate that, Joe. Yeah, I don't think we're going to get hit too bad with it. It's just going to be a little bit of rain and wind. Craig, I appreciate it. Hope to see you here Saturday, man, if you can make it. But, guys, I got to get off here. I do appreciate everybody, and I'm excited about football. It's right around the corner, brothers. Right around the corner. And with that being said, until next time, go Bucks!